How did I not realize this sooner? I'm gonna record it.
Shit.
Charles, welcome to the Awards Tour podcast.
Hello. Happy to be here.
Very glad to have you here. The reason why we're here chatting, first of all, congratulations, all of the incredible Emmy love already for Beef. It is kind of crazy to think about this show essentially doing the same thing it did with season 1, again with season 2. But I have to ask you, what was it like waking up to all of that on Emmys morning, nominations morning?
I was in Paris, so I had the full day before I found out about the Emmys at around like in the evening around 6:30 or 8:30. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, so I had the whole day thinking about it. I really didn't think about it, but I was with my wife and my daughter, and we were just doing what we usually do, when we're in Paris, and the mundane, the beautiful mundane. And you know, there's a part of me, I think everyone can relate to this, that's been in some sort of position like this where you don't care, or you don't want to act like you care, or it's not a big deal. But I'm just like, oh yeah, let's just go get ice cream, or let's go do this, let's go do that. And then about a minute before the announcements were going to come out, I was like, hey, it's about to come on in a minute, should we turn it on? And it was a very beautiful moment. And so many people worked hard on this show. It was great to get the recognition from my peers in the Academy, and even for all the categories where people that work so hard on our show were nominated. And even the people that didn't, we all represent this collective. Being a part of something great in a project, it's everyone. There's 300 cast and crew in between the cast that's seen on the screen. So I know everyone's very proud, and I'm proud that we all got recognized.
Yeah, I mean, it's bittersweet. I think obviously the creator as well, Sunny, as well as Oscar and yourself, and then Carrie. But unfortunately, your main scene partner, Cailee Spaeny, was not honored with an Emmy nomination. But I want to talk about your partnership with these characters, because I feel that was like a huge part of why this season worked, is y'all's chemistry together.
For sure. I think the fact that we're even talking about any sort of recognition that I've got, like I couldn't have done that without Cailee. Like I'm talking to you because of everyone and their role that they brought into this project. And Cailee and I we have a very strong personal relationship. She's one of my besties. And we made each other better. And we, are very dedicated in the craft and the work. And we did a lot of work with each other leading up, and we were each other's rocks during the process. And I think when you have an artist who really cares about the work and is so prepared, they can mirror you in a sense. And when you come to work, you completely let it go and then become surprised in whatever's happening,
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit more about that because, I mean, the entire show, I think, is a testament to the way that you guys work as a collaboration. But that hospital episode 4, I think, is the best one. And a lot of that is moving around. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about how you set up that day, how y'all filmed it, and how much went into just preparing for that episode.
I think the preparation, evolves, especially with the material with each episode. But when I think about Austin and kind of what we navigate with Austin, what's so fascinating with him is people would tell me Austin's so funny. He's so funny. Like, gosh, he's so heartbreaking. He's so sweet. He's so funny. And I never played, for me, the kind of humor that I appreciate to watch. There's something about Beef, you can't play the joke, and you kind of have to like trick yourself or eliminate the idea of awareness that this is funny. And you have to live in the circumstances completely embodied. And, I'll lead this up to 4. In episode 1, Austin is feeling many things when he's trying to save this bee. He doesn't want to disappear. He's of service. His partner doesn't need him. She's working a new job. He is having all his clients on Zoom cancel training sessions with him. He doesn't know what to do with himself. He's also rediscovering his identity after being a successful collegiate football player, now in Los Angeles. And he's doing push-ups, trying to pass time, and he notices a struggling bee. And then he runs to the kitchen, grabs a glass of water, dips his pinky in, and tries to revive this bee, and the bee dies, and he starts crying. That is the perfect explanation of who Austin is. And technically, the craft, that scene is all in 15 seconds without a cut. So it's navigating kind of like this roller coaster of emotions, which is very technically difficult, but fun. But what's interesting is watching the reception of the audience taking that scene and they're laughing. And I'm like, this isn't funny, because it's completely contrary to my experience with my character that's really required like an immense amount of vulnerability, which then, tethered certain emotions of frustrations where, I think you have to eliminate complete judgment to anything that you're embodying, because it is a part of you, or at least like how I work. And I think a lot of my favorite artists' work is, there's kind of like this fusion, this transfusion that happens between the unreality of the character, their reality, and your reality. But again, from that moment leading up to 4, I think at 4, Austin, again, what's so funny about him, he has an immense amount of self-doubt, and we watch him unravel in the most absurd circumstances when his heart is in the right place. It's funny. And also, he makes only decisions from a place of indecision, a place of catering and people pleasing to everyone around him out of codependency, where it's everyone comes first. It's like, what is the good thing for them? Not really myself. And I think and basically me talking about this just kind of expands on the richness of the show and Sonny's writing and how he excavates certain personality traits of who we are or parts of who we used to be, and then writes it and then understands that our essence is going to fill in the space in between the dialogue that he's written. Austin, his mask of, people pleasing and codependency and being in love, and this puppy dog stage in love, which we all can relate to, slowly starts to crack. And he's trying to like hold on to all these things with the relationship, with discovering his identity, meeting his Koreanness, feeling like he doesn't want to disappear in the world. And he's finally in episode 4, it's kind of like the midpoint where he's trying to hold it all together and make do the right thing, do the good thing for his partner, because he believes that doing the good thing for someone else will then be the good thing for him, which is in a way very reminiscent of hiding. But it slowly crumbles away, and he's confronted with, oh, am I with the right person? Who is this person I'm with? And only time and trials and struggles can really dictate in any sort of relationship after a time being, after that honeymoon phase, when you make a best friend, oh my gosh, this is my best friend. Or like, I love this person, So that's what happens in that episode. And, it ends up becoming a life and death situation too. So there's just so many things that Austin's juggling. And then going to 8, when he finally makes a decision out of conviction, like the ending shot. But I digress. I just realized I was talking for 4 minutes.
No, you should, because listen, that episode, you should talk about it for longer because it has that much going in it. I also loved that you got to play 2 different scenes in it, because spoiler alert for folks that haven't seen it, the show's been out long enough now. We can talk about it.
Right.
The first version, when Ashley wakes up, she hears the news, everything's okay. Don't worry about it. Your ovaries are fine. The surgery was a success. And you get to play the like triumphant moment with her. And then there's the other version, which is the reality, which is that she has lost an ovary due to this ovarian torsion. It is going to definitely negatively affect her ability to have children, and basically the worst case scenario that you could possibly see. Talk about playing those two scenes back to back and sort of
Yeah.
like how Sunny set those up, because I think that is two very interesting things. Because the first time I watched it, I remember feeling that sense of relief. I was like, oh wow. And so then to have the wool pulled under us to see the other side of it, it was even more jarring. But it only worked because both were played so honestly.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's fun. And I think that's where like craft comes in, right? I think
Mm,
it's interesting. You play like the flip side of the coin, but I think the undercurrents of what Austin is going through is still the same.
mm,
And what I mean by that is, it is a celebration when your fiance in one take has both her ovaries, and didn't have torsion and this surgery was successful. So there's kind of, you almost have to do nothing but celebrate it because there's so much still going on with Austin, whether it's unconscious or not, because he's aware of the things that are happening with like, things are fishy with her. So I can become heady and overtalk it, but it's just fairly simple. I think I just knew that they were both coming from the same place. One was heartbreak and the other one was reward,
mm.
happiness. And heartbreak and happiness are very close with each other. They're not that different. It's not like, oh my God, I'm crying. Like, it was tough. I think Austin's carrying the weight of knowing how hard this is for her. And it really brings him a lot of pain. And I think for me, my analyzation is you can't really project pain, especially if someone's going through something painful. You can't be like, oh my God, like, I'm sorry. No, he's being a rock. He's being a rock for her in both takes. He's being a rock for her, telling her good news, despite all the insecurities that are starting to crack in his relationship with her. And he's being the rock for her with bad news in spite of everything that's happening in their relationship and all the cracks that are happening. So I think it's like they're in the same line, but they kind of go like this. And I don't know, it's weird to talk about performance, but yeah,
No, you said it really well that he's doing the same thing. Like I never thought about it that way, but it's very true, even though
it's,
they're two very different moments.
yeah, it's the same thing, but it's different. I think the brass tacks of it is one take he's sharing good news, and in the other take he's sharing bad news. But the denominator of those two things that he's sharing is his heart and his kindness, you know?
No, very much so. I have to talk about YJ, who you also share a ton of scenes with. And I mean, basically, I feel like Beef season two, Sunny said, let me go ahead and get the best actors in Korea and I'm just gonna bring them into my thing and see if I can do it. And then he did it. Because he was able to get both YJ and Mr. Sang in this one as well. I'm curious for you, acting alongside her, do you feel the decades of cinema and television behind her? I talked to Stephen Young about this. I talked to Bowen Yang about this, who also has acted alongside her. All of them comment on how like easy she is, like almost like she throws it away. She never really appreciates what she does on screen. I'm curious what your experience was working with her.
I think they said it best. There is an ease, I don't think, and there's a wisdom and also a humanity that she's crafted with like her portfolio of work. Like that is, you're almost like, is this experience or is this God given or is this both? I mean, for you and I having this conversation, I don't think I mean, for me at least, I'm not really thinking about what I'm saying or the intention behind what I'm saying. I'm just
Mm.
going with the flow of whatever this conversation is going to be. And I'm trying to be as truthful as I can be in this conversation, right? While also knowing like to be a little wary of what I'm going to say because it could be perceived on a certain
As
way
you should.
because it could be perceived in a certain way on a piece of paper. I guess the reason why I say that is because it's just it's in the same kind of vortex with, when you're on set and you see someone like YJ, one of the goats, just there's an ease to it. It's like a conversation. It's so rich. She's not struggling. Like, okay, like I have to say it like this or do it like that. It's just so lived in and so human. It's that thing that, we try to talk about when we break down performances or like things, but like uh, it's endless when you describe someone's essence and their artistry and humanity. There's no words for it, right? So I guess that's my version of saying it's probably easier to have Bowen Yang or Stephen Yun's response, which is there's just such an ease, I probably should say that what I'm saying is less interesting and yeah.
No, 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 no. You're doing good. Just remember, you get to go with her to the Emmys either way.
Yeah.
This is the other thing I was going to talk to you about. And I don't want to be too personal in this, but you've talked a little bit about this. There's an entire storyline within this season about your character connecting with his Koreanness and then feeling, whether it be with Eunice and how that character sort of entices him, but then also with the chairwoman and how her world sort of seduces him. But the undercurrent of that is it's bringing him back to an aspect of his Korean identity that he has maybe muted
Right.
over the years.
Right.
And I think you've talked a little bit about how this experience of making this show felt a little bit similar to you because you got to go to Seoul and like, I don't know, I'd be curious how this experience has reflected within yourself as a Korean American and how it is sort of like shaped it, if anything. I mean, I don't want to again put words in your mouth, but I think you've talked a little bit about like you've kind of had your own journey with it as well.
It was very special for me to meet Lee Sung-jin, the creator of Beef, and for him to tell me he's writing for me. And that what ensued after that was thousands of hours of conversations and us really getting to know each other on a very personal human level.
Mm.
Nothing was written before I met Sunny. He told me he wanted to talk about the half Korean experience and the half white experience, the Korean American experience. And he told me about his Korean American experience. He lived in Korea in his adolescence, and I lived in Korea, for 5 years. And so we connected on that, but our stories were different. But then what he does is he excavates certain personal stories or ideologies or philosophies, and then he blends it with his own humanity and then crafts it into like the dialogue, which was Austin, for me, it was like very monumental in episode 8 coming back home because I could never imagine my Korean family and Seoul all coming to set, and, growing up, there's stuff about Austin, his experience and coming into his identity is different than mine. And again, what I love about this work that I get to do and the work that I choose to do and get the opportunity to do is none of it is, the art is not limited to identity. I'm not playing identity. I just am. I want to be a part of great work. And I'm drawn to characters and the humanity of a character that I could probably empathize with or learn to empathize with that sparks something inside of me. One thing about Austin that I had empathy for that I was really interested in, or not interested in, but interested by is his kind of motivation and curiosity with his own identity and his DNA
Mm.
where, when he's not even referred to as Korean, he's referred to as Mexican, or ambiguous. And I think about my own experience when I was younger, being a military kid, constantly adapting and having to move, where I was moving from all these different places in the world, experiencing all these different cultures. And I would be lying to you if I didn't seek out someone that looked like me or was probably from somewhere my mother was from or looked like they were from somewhere my mother was from. Like I was like, oh, and I always ask, may I ask what your ethnicity is? There's almost like this kinship that I was seeking in just the mundanity of like my military kid life where, you're like, okay, I'm not the only person that looks like me here, or that person looks like me, or, oh, let me go get to know them. And you're just drawn to elements of yourself that, because of your genetic makeup and your DNA, that for me, talking about this, I know, it's just like it was very rich ground for me to explore with Austin because unlike him, I had the opportunity to grow up in Korea. To, Korean, I was learning Korean and English at the same time, and I need to touch up on my Korean, but all my friends were Korean. I wish and they spoke Korean with me, and my mom, you know, hardest job in the world, being a mother and holding it down, being a mother of me and my two younger sisters, like we had a rice cooker all the time. Snacks
Mhm.
for me, getting a fruit roll up was a treat. Getting seaweed, opening up the rice cooker and scooping up rice, sticky rice like a taco, that was like on a daily basis. So I had that. Austin didn't. Or maybe he had a version of that. I don't know. That was probably work. So I brought my experience as a Korean American, which I think everyone brings some sort of aligned experience to a character or the psychology of maybe what someone's going through. So I did understand that, like wanting to be closer to where you came from. Not your
Mm,
art, but like where you came from. And I think that's a part of artistry is knowing your history and being connected to your culture. But, my culture doesn't like define the roles that I choose. I just want to do great roles. I don't know.
definitely.
Yeah.
No, I mean, your filmography is already, even in this amount of time, shown that, I think, with a lot of the things that you've done, like, Her Private
Or
Hell
Private
and
Hell.
yeah, and May, December, and, even Riverdale, you know what I mean? You've made bold choices already.
Yeah.
Nobody would ever say that that was not where you were going. I do have to ask this, and it's maybe just because I know that he set up this anthology series to where you can bring in all of these crazy different people from different like talented actors who've done other things. You can bring them in the world of beef, and under the right premise they could really shine. I'm curious for you, of all your co-stars, who would you be most excited to see in a beef series, whether it be a big role like yours or even like maybe a smaller role like what maybe BM did in this one, whatever. Who would you want to see from some of your previous work directed by Sonny under one of his scripts in one of his beef anthologies? What would you want to see?
Every every single one of them.
I
You
know,
know.
but pick one. Pick one that you'd be like, okay, I want to see what they would do. I mean, I would love it if you picked somebody from Riverdale because that would just make my like head explode in the sense of
I
like,
would
oh,
I honestly I would say Casey Cott.
oh,
Casey
really?
Cott from Riverdale. He is
Wow. Yeah. Okay. I dig
so
this. Yeah.
talented
This
and
is true.
has like he's very vulnerable and has like an immense amount of humanity that that's so he doesn't really hide. Like he is who he is and he would be spectacular. He would be spectacular.
See, we got one. One of the things too that I think is great about the stuff that you've already sort of done is you are sort of picking projects that I think where you're trying to go and work with incredible filmmakers. You've already worked with some incredible ones already. When you're looking to the next thing that you want to do, is there some area of filmmaking that you haven't gotten to explore yet that you're excited to explore, whether it be a genre or a filmmaker or maybe a location or even maybe a role that you haven't done, like maybe there's a script that you're thinking about doing? Like what aspect of the movie making process have you not gotten to do in your career that you're excited to do next?
I think there's a lot I haven't done yet. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot. And there's like a lot of filmmakers that I want to work with. I mean, who doesn't love, I love independent filmmaking. I love, working with incredible artists. I work with Todd Haynes 100 times more, Great Quidar. I'm working with Elijah Bynum here in the fall, and I'm working with the Daniels. I start working with the Daniels here in a couple of days.
Yes.
And I have like a dream list of filmmakers to work with. Thomas Vinterberg, it just like escapes me.
No, those are good ones.
Destin Daniel, he's amazing.
Having a good week, let's just say, I don't know.
Pablo Lorraine, and like, there's just
I mean, you gave me some pretty like
Kelly Reichardt, like, Justin Trier. Oh yeah, I think I said that. Joaquin Trier. Yeah, yeah. Just
Yeah.
Lucas Dawn is like on my wish list. Park Chan-wook, Bong Joon-ho. Like, but I have like a lot of dreams and but I know and then, there's just so many great filmmakers I don't even know of yet, and sometimes I get to know those filmmakers when I read something great and they're like, hey, he's directing this or she's directing this or she wrote this. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like, there's only so much I can digest as a lover of cinema and stuff. But yeah, the list just goes on. I say whatever comes, I think it'll speak to a part of my soul. It's like very soulful work for me, then I'll do it. Usually.
Love it. Um, my last question, I think this is the one that I was waiting until the end to take you on it because I'm so glad that you mentioned the Daniels. I know a little bit about it that I'm not allowed to talk about. So I know a little bit more than the average person because I work with the folks at Universal Pictures. I work for their podcast, Seen on the Screen. I can't wait to talk to anyone involved in that film about it. But what can you tell us about this? Because what the Daniels did with Everything Everywhere All at Once, I think everyone in Hollywood is waiting for what they're going to do next. And you are going to be a part of what they do next. And the cast list alone has pretty much everyone just being like, wow. If there's anything you can tell us about it, I'd be all ears.
The Daniels are incredible artists and filmmakers, and I feel so lucky to be a part of this with so many great artists. I saw Matt Damon said something in an interview describing the film, and I think, or I actually honestly, I believe that it is just hope. Like, it is honestly so beautiful. And I'm so grateful I get to be a part of it with the cast and the crew and the Daniels. It's so special. It's
So the
so
one word to
special.
describe it is hope and special. It's
Yeah.
hope and it's special.
Yeah, that's good. If people are gonna read that, if anyone cares to publish it, it's gonna be Hope and Special. They're gonna be like, who is this person? What? And I'm like, no, no, no,
No,
watch. No, no, no. I wish
I
I
know
could
a
be a.
little bit about it, and I get what you mean. Actually, I
Do you? Oh
actually
yeah, you
do.
get what you mean.
I'm like, I know I get what you mean. Like it is, and I would say if I was going to add anything, it comes from a place of despair that goes to hope, which is great.
Mm, mm. Hope is the
So
answer. Hope is the
hope is,
answer.
yeah.
Just dance.
Yes. Charles, before either one of us get in trouble, I want to say thank you so much. Congratulations on Beef Season 2 and very good luck at the Emmys, sir.
All right. Thank you, Jacqueline.